This is the Wavo Pro. It's a new shotgun mic from JOBY. Now, there are lots of shotgun microphones out there, and it's a crowded market. Does the world really need a new shotgun mic? As you may know, I have a bunch of shotgun microphones. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, different price ranges, and many of them have cool and unique features that some of the other microphones don't have. For example, this little guy has an input jack, so I can plug an extra mic in and do interviews. It'll even put the different mic inputs on different channels. That's pretty useful. This one has a variable gain knob so you can get your levels just right, and it also allows you to plug it into your computer and use it as a USB mic. Nice. Now this one has a variable gain knob as well, but it also has a low cut filter with 2 different roll-off frequencies, and you can turn on a safety channel, so if you clip your signal, you've got a backup recording on the other channel that's 10 dB quieter. That's impressive. Now this mic, well, it doesn't really have any features, but it sounds really good. So, do we really need another shotgun microphone? What if I told you that the JOBY Wavo Pro has all of these features all wrapped up into one microphone? Yeah? Except that's not quite true. The Wavo Pro is missing one of these features, and it's definitely not perfect, but I'll talk about that more later. There's just one thing I haven't told you yet. There are actually secret levels you can unlock for even more power. Earlier I showed you a mini microphone that had a really cool feature. It had an auxiliary input, so you could plug another microphone into it, and when you plug a mic into it, it would split the signals left and right. So the main microphone would be on one channel, and the auxiliary microphone, like a lavalier mic, would be on the other one. Well, the JOBY Wavo Pro does that as well, but it takes it one step further. So let me show you how that works. Hey Finn, so we're at the historic Santa Paula train station today. Have you ever been here before?
No, this is my first time ever visiting this place. Yeah. There's a lot of red buildings around. That's a lot of similarity. There's also some weird like go-kart train things that you're like, I don't even know how they work. You just sit on them and pedal, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to investigate that later.
Possibly even try them out.
Hey, did you notice with this JOBY Wavo Pro that I've got another microphone plugged into the side?
Yeah, you got a mic on your shirt. Are you like a pro interviewer now?
Yeah, it's a little lavalier mic, and it allows me to plug that in. And that way I can have my mic signal on one channel and your signal will be on the other channel through the JOBY.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. On the sides of the microphones, you have buttons that will increase the gain by 10 dB or 20 dB, and there are 2 of these buttons. That's because one button controls the gain of the microphone itself, and the other button controls the gain of any auxiliary microphone you have plugged in there. You also have a power button on the back that acts as a metering system. It's green when you have signal and yellow and red when you're about to clip, and it's actually 2 separate metering systems to show you the main mic and an auxiliary mic. Now, that's not as good as having a full metering system, but that's certainly better than what most on-camera microphones have, which is nothing. This microphone comes with a pop filter, which you'll probably never remove. It also comes with a really substantial dead cat, which I have on the microphone right now. Earlier I showed you 2 microphones that allow you to adjust the gain by dialing it in to exactly what you want. Now, the JOBY Wavo Pro doesn't have a physical dial to do the same, but that's where things get interesting. The Wavo Pro actually comes with an app, and you connect to the app via Bluetooth, and it unlocks features that you can't access from the microphone itself. For example, there's a slider so you can control the gain of the microphone, and there's all sorts of other features too. Earlier I showed you a microphone that had a 2-position low roll-off filter, so you could pick what frequency you were rolling off at. Well, the JOBY Wavo Pro has that as well. It has a low-cut filter, but it also has low, mid, and high EQ built in with the app. The app has a basic mode where the EQ frequencies are picked for you, but there's also an advanced mode where you can dial in the exact frequencies you want for the low cut filter as well as the low, mid, and high filters. And you can save presets. So if you need to adjust EQ at the mic level, this is a game changer. All right, I'm gonna demo the EQ mode here, and you can turn EQ on with just this tapping this button right here, but you can edit it right here, and it's in basic mode right now. And they call the low, mid, and high frequencies warmth, clarity, and presence. I'm gonna boost up the warmth here, so you should hear a lot of low end, and then I'm gonna drop it, so it should get pretty tinny, and then we're back to almost normal there. Now we got the high end as well. This is boosting the high end, and then we'll drop the high end, whoops, and then we'll drop the high end like that, and return it to the mid. And then the clarity, which is just the mid-range, is actually the sliders reversed. So when you move it to the right, it reduces the mid-range, and when you move it to the left, it boosts the mid-range. Now, if you don't like your EQ settings, and this probably sounds really bad, you can just hit that reset button and they're all back to normal. Now you also have the advanced mode where you can actually dial in the frequency and all sorts of things. Here, let me show you. You've got gain, you've got frequency, and you've got Q for each one of those EQ settings. So that's pretty great. And then you can just turn the whole thing on or off by tapping that button. One of the microphones I showed you earlier has a safety channel option. And what that means is it records the audio at the normal level on one channel, and on the other channel, your audio is 10 dB down. That way, if you manage to clip your levels on your camera accidentally, you have that safety channel as a backup and you can use that instead. So the JOBY Wavo Pro has that as well, and you can turn that on either via the back of the camera or via the app. Now here's a pro tip. If you are using a safety channel, turn off the limiter in your camera if you can, because if you're using a limiter and the audio hits that limiter and causes it to drop the level, it's going to do that on the safety channel as well. So if you're using a limiter, it's going to mess up your audio potentially both on the main track and on the safety channel. So using a safety channel, turn off the limiter. Now there's one feature that is only available using the app, and that is noise reduction. Now, Joby says that the noise reduction is designed to reduce handling noise when you're operating your camera, like if you're walking or you have it on a monopod or something like that. So I'm gonna turn on the noise reduction now and we can give it a quick test, and I'm gonna do that via the app. Okay, the noise reduction is on now, and I have this on a monopod, but you can get a sense of how it sounds, and I'm gonna tap on the monopod. Here, Finn, would you hold my phone for a sec, please? Sure. All right, tapping on the monopod here, tapping on the camera. The microphone's going wiggly, 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 and just kind of tapping places. And okay, so now I'm gonna try walking with it. All right, so that is what the internal noise reduction sounds like. Let me turn it off if I can have my phone. Thank you very much. And all right, we are back to noise reduction turned off. Now, having all these features available in a microphone is pretty amazing, but if the microphone doesn't sound good, then what is the point of having features? So I have brought two of the best sounding microphones in my collection so that we can compare them with the Joby. Now on the camera, I have the Mackie EM-98MS. It's a shotgun microphone. It's quite a bit longer than the JOBY Wavo Pro, and this is how the Mackie microphone sounds. Now on the camera, I have the Sennheiser MKE600, and this is a more expensive mic than the Joby. It's also a much longer microphone. In fact, it's so long that if you put a dead cat on it, it will sometimes show up in the shot of a wide-angle lens. So that is something to consider, but it is a very nice sounding microphone, and this is the Sennheiser MKE600. All right, I think it's time to head back to the studio because we gotta talk. So I do have a couple of issues with this mic, and the first one is with the app. Now, it worked perfectly the first time I set it up. However, when I took the mic out for its first field test, I couldn't sync the app with the mic at all. This was really frustrating because I had no way of knowing if any EQ or noise reduction had been set. I finally had to uninstall the app and reinstall it, and it still took a few tries to get the app synced to the mic again. Since then, it's been pretty solid. However, it could be an issue because imagine you had turned on the noise reduction for a previous shoot. You'd be stuck with it if you couldn't access the app. It would be kind of nice if there was like a reset button on the mic to clear it back to like a default state. Now, a very minor complaint I have is that the cord Joby supplied with the mic is a little too short. It'll work with my Micro Four Thirds camera, but it's really stretching things when I use this with my ZV-1. Now, this is partly Sony's fault because they put the audio input on the wrong side of the camera. I feel like I'm straining the connectors when I plug the Joby into the Sony, but that's not a big deal because I do have other cables. So which feature from my wish list is missing from the Wavo Pro? Well, this mic allows you to hook it up to a computer via USB and send your signal digitally to your computer. Yeah, it's acting as a USB mic. Now, the Joby doesn't allow that. It only uses the USB port for charging. In fact, the D4 is the only on-camera shotgun mic I know of that doubles as a USB mic. Honestly though, this feature is less useful than I thought it would be. And the reason is because shotgun mics don't make very good desktop mics or like gaming mics. In fact, the only time I've used the USB connection is really when I was testing it for review. So, you know, it's a nice to have, but I don't see it as a vital feature. Okay, enough with the quibbles. The only real issue with this mic is if the app won't sync and you're stuck using presets that you didn't want. So really, this microphone is an amazing piece of technology. And for such a little mic, it sounds really good. I mean, the Sennheiser MKE600 is the best sounding mic I own, and this comes really close. So which of these two would I choose to take on like a hike or just about anywhere? The JOBY Wavo Pro. It's much lighter than the Sennheiser, and it's also shorter. And the Sennheiser is so long, it will actually get in the shot when I'm using a really wide lens. So while the JOBY isn't completely perfect, it's an absolutely fabulous mic. Now you do pay for all those features. The mic is only slightly cheaper than the Sennheiser, and it's double the price of the next mic down on the price scale. I believe the list price is like almost $300. It's a very serious mic though. If you're serious about your video production, you should definitely check it out. But what if you're not quite ready for that sort of investment yet? Well, I have reviewed a lot of shotgun microphones on my YouTube channel with all sorts of price points, with all sorts of capabilities. And what I've done is I've put together a little playlist of all those reviews, which you can check out right there.